All right, hello and welcome to another little vibrational immersion for Friday today. A little something to help you to raise your energy, raise your frequency. I just help you to rise above the static and noise of all the craziness that's going on in the world today, which, needless to say, there is some going on, to say the least, right? This week, it is all about releasing and dissipating negative energy, processing through the energy that arises within us all. And if you tuned in to this week's musical note or even the podcast episode on this channel, talked about dissipating negative energy. I reluctantly use that term, negative energy, just because it tends to bring up judgment within us. And the reason why I have my issues with judgment, so to speak, is that, being in the energy domain now for years, judgment creates this resistance, and resistance slows the flow of energy. And if anything that we want to do is we want to be able to move through the seasons of our emotions, the seasons of our life, so to speak, without resistance. We want to be able to flow. It's a very key step in raising your vibration, increasing your frequency, if you wanted to use terms to that effect, kind of explaining that. So we want to be able to let go of it, but because everybody understands what negative emotions are or negative energy, we understand what that is. So that's why I use the term in this week. But to whatever can come up within us, we want to be able to let go of those conversations when they arise, around judgment, around the seasons. We all have seasons of our emotions. We have our ups, we have our downs, we have our new moons, we have our full moons. We have our high tides, we have our low tides, we have our winter, spring, summer, falls. They're all part of this experience in life. And so we want to be able to move through those seasons effortlessly, easily, flow through the ups and downs of our own experience. And it's when we get into judgment around it that we run into issues. Sorry, I was just looking at a note here that said something about my video. Okay, we might have to do that at some point here. So hopefully everybody can hear me. I see some hands and some notes here popping in, so at least I know I'm broadcasting, so that's a good thing. And I'm coming out of both speakers, unlike last week where I had an issue where the signal was getting split. So welcome once again. So we want to flow through those emotions that show up within us. And so today we want to look at dissipating what I would call lower density, heavy or negative emotion. And I think something that might kind of take the edge off of our interpretation of the negative emotions that arise within ourselves is to do one of my favorite little analogies. You probably seen me do it before, but I felt inclined to do it again. We have a lovely battery here, and that battery has a positive terminal and it has a negative terminal. And both of them make the battery function. Both of them make the battery shine the light. And so we also have a positive and a negative terminal, and we experience that through our emotional frequencies, through our energy. And so we want to just be able to honor both of those aspects of who and what we are and suspend the judgment so that we can allow this light, this energy to move and to flow through us. We put the little positive plus sign here, but there's never a negative sign on the negative. But yet this battery won't work without both. And so we want to honor that dynamic within our own selves and allow ourselves to experience the joy and the bliss and the ecstasy of life, but also the sadness and the anger and the frustration that shows up. And when we encounter those things, we learn to move through this lower density energy and allow it to flow through us. And it allows us to increase how we flow through life. And ultimately, I always say you want your life to look like a nice positive stock chart. It's got its ups and its downs and its peaks and its valleys, but it's moving in this upward direction. And part of the way of really mastering that process is learning how to move through our energy. So, as I mentioned earlier, this week was about dissipating that lower density energy, that negative energy, and allowing it to flow through us and move through us and to dissipate so that we can move past our periods of sadness, of frustration, of anger, whatever they might be, and move through them more quickly. So I want to just ask you a question. Where are you experiencing some frustration or some downturns in your life right now? You know, where are you having some turbulence show up? Maybe you're having a struggle in the area of relationship. Maybe you're having a struggle in the area of health that causes some of this lower density emotional energy to show up. And we want to be able to release that, and we want to be able to dissipate that. So bring to mind your experience where it is that you're struggling with this and we're experiencing some of this turbulence, and let's move through it. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to be playing a musical mantra for dissipating energy. Dissipate. It's called Dissipate. And it's a great little process to breathe through, to let go and release and to dissipate that lower density energy. So with that being said, bring to mind perhaps maybe an area where you're experiencing some of that down emotional stuff, where you're experiencing some of that frustration. I'll guide you with some prompts as we go through this piece and invite you just to take some deep breaths. And it's almost like I love to use the imagination. Honestly, my own personal perspective is that imagination moves energy. I've been experimenting with this for years, almost 20 years now, where I can use my imagination to move energy and actually give people an experience of it. It's something that we all need to awaken to within ourselves. So as you get yourself connected to perhaps maybe some of your turbulence, imagine it moving out of your experience. Imagine it dissipating and disappearing, kind of like a cloud just coming in a state where it just kind of disappears, where it dissipates. And so a little something to ponder. So I invite you to take some nice deep breaths as we go through this musical mantra for dissipating lower density energy. So nice deep breaths. Just breathing in the notes. Breathing out what's no longer serving you. Deep breathing. Setting the intention to dissipating your sadness, your frustration, your anger, whatever it is you might be experiencing. Deep breath. Everything is energy. emotional energy will always have its ups and downs, its peaks and valleys. And when we get into those lulls of frustration, anger, whatever, fear, we want to consciously move through that, releasing and dissipating what's no longer serving us. Deep breath. So just take some nice deep inhales. We all go through the seasons of our experience. We all move through the seasons of our own emotional energy. And the more that we learn how to master these frequencies, master this energy that arises within us, we begin to consciously take the wheel of how it is that we direct our lives and the direction that we move into and what it is that we create and shift in our lives. And this is something we're all in the process of awakening to. So when we look at those negative energies that show up within us, that lower density stuff that we all get to experience from time to time, let's face it, we all have new moons and full moons in the shift of our own emotions and our ups and our downs. We want to be able to move through that energy, because many times we're responding to an upset or a situation or something that's triggered us, whether it's something in the media or something in a relationship said to you, or something a child did, or something that happened at work or whatever, and it comes up in order for us to release. What we don't want to do is get into that space where we hold it in, where we don't allow that energy to move through us. And that's what causes health issues, challenges, resentments, anxiety, depression. So we want to learn how to move that. And as we learn how to breathe our energy, breathing in what gives us life, breathing out what's no longer serving us, we energize ourselves, we revitalize ourselves, we lift our energy, we raise our vibration to be able to operate on a whole different level. So something to ponder today. And if you have anything that you want to release dissipate, I invite you to come back and go breathe in these notes and let that go and allow it to move through you. You'll be surprised of how lighter you'll feel. That mantra has been around for years. I've been using that in session work and in live performances to help people to release and dissipate. I always get those two. They very often get played together, and dissipate that energy so it's no longer in our experience, no longer reverberating within our body, mind, and spirit. So good, powerful stuff. So I see some comments coming in. I just want to acknowledge. Hello, Celeste Lalang. Hi, thank you. My pleasure. Darja back again. Margarita, thank you so very much. Elizabeth, hello. Stacy, you're very welcome. Britt, good to see your name pop up. Awesome. Very cool. So I just wanted to thank everybody for being here. My whole commitment is to help people to raise their energy, to create the space for healing, to create the space for awakening and remembering who they really are, and ultimately so that we can all master our ability to manifest the life of our dreams and to recreate a world that works. And we learn that by realizing it's our energy. It's who and what we are. It's who we are being that creates our lives. And when we become the master of that, we begin to step in our ability to compose our lives, but collectively, we also step in the ability to change the world that we live in. And the time is definitely now for all of us to awaken and remember our mastery and just how powerful we really are. So Thank you again. I also wanted to extend an invitation. If you'd like to engage, we have a beautiful membership community that basically we dive in much deeper than we do on these calls on Friday and just really help people ultimately to go through those 3 steps: to heal, to let go of what's no longer serving them, to transcend the challenges, the obstacles, the disharmony in your life, and then also to awaken, to help you to remember who you really are. You're the universe in motion. That's very powerful if you think about it. And that also gives the ability to step into your innate ability to create, to shape and shift matter energy, and to recreate the world that you live in, your life, your body, your mind, your spirit. All that's within the realm of possibility. So if you would like to learn more about that, I invite you in the comments below. There's some information with a link to our membership community. We're diving in deep this summer. We're helping people on their journey. And if that's something that you feel inclined to, that resonates with you, I invite you to explore that and to see if that's something that might be able to work out for you. So thank you, Julie. Thank you, Lalang. Thank you. Is it Catalan? Jin? I don't know. I think I need glasses to read the screen or make the font bigger. So my appreciation for all the wonderful comments. Thank you, Jay, the letter J. So I don't know if you're a J or a J for something, but thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for taking the time to tune in. If you have any comments, please comment. Please share this channel. This is all about helping people to tune the strings of their life experience so that they can bring their music, their passion, their callings out to a higher level. Thank you. Have a harmonious day and a great weekend. Take care.